Hello learners, welcome back to my channel Mrs.Bio-Education. This channel is all about biology and here we talk about small and big stuff regarding biology. Our chapter today would be reproductive health, which is a chapter in class 12 NCERT. And today we are dealing with topic 3, which is birth control method. So if this is the first time you are on my channel, I would suggest you go back and see topic 2, which is population studies, and topic 1, which is problem and strategies, so that we can understand this in a continuity. Let's begin. So birth control methods. Firstly, we have to define what you mean by birth control methods. So definition of birth control method is very, very simple. It is actually some devices or apparatus that helps provide contraception. I'm sorry, I wrote prevent over there. It should be provide contraception or prevent pregnancy without interfering with the reproductive health of the individuals. So these are devices which are given to reproductively active individuals. They can use them and avoid any unwanted pregnancies. What are their characteristics? What should an ideal birth control method look like? Let's take a look at that. So it has 4 main characteristics. The very first of it being it should be user friendly. Obviously, I mean, you cannot use some apparatus which is very complicated and requires a lot of knowledge for use. So a lot of people will automatically not use it because it's not easy. Secondly, it should be devoid of any side effect. It should not have any side effect on the body. And thirdly, it should be reversible, which meaning that if a couple is using it and now they want to conceive again and they stop using this device, it should allow them to become pregnant again. And fourthly, and most importantly, obviously, it should be completely effective. It should not be like that. Even after using this contraceptive method, there is a doubt in the mind of the user that, oh wait, will it work? Or do I have to take other measures? So yeah, it should be completely effective. So the idea of this contraception should be engraved in couples as under the family planning schemes. And in India, we did a survey to find out that 55% of the reproductively actively couple are actually voluntarily using it, which was a good thing, but this data is still, this number is still very little compared to how it should be actually. And in 2004, when we actually started getting the numbers, we saw that there are 60 to 79 lakh people with females with IUD insertions. IUD stands for intrauterine devices. We'll talk about this in detail in future videos or the next part of this video. And 48 to 74 lakh sterilization or surgical interventions, meaning that these people opted for complete sterility. This is especially true for people that are of, near the age of 45 to 50 that don't want to conceive anymore. So they can go for this. Then obviously the most common thing that we use today is in India is condoms, which is 249.9 lakhs people, and 54 to 87 lakhs are oral pill users. So oral pills are contraceptive pills that are taken by females for regulating their hormones or for regulating their menstrual cycle and also provide contraception at the same time. Let's look at the methods of contraception. So broadly, we have divided them into 2 categories depending upon how long we want to use it. So if we want a short-term relief from pregnancy, we could go for temporary methods. And if you want to end it so that no more babies in this life, then we can go for permanent methods. Temporary methods have 9 sub-methods. So they include natural method, barrier method, chemical methods, intrauterine devices, IUDs, we just talked about this, oral contraceptive pills that females can take, and followed by the injectable contraceptives. So these are injections that are given at a regular interval of time. Implants for those who don't want to take injections but still want a long-term contraception. Emergency contraceptive pills. This is especially for those who failed in one of these methods that they used above. It failed. So now there is a doubt in their mind, so you can use emergency contraceptive. Let's start with the very first one, which is called natural method. So natural method is actually, as its name says, it's a completely natural way of not conceiving. So it does not require any device or any medicine, but it does require knowledge of reproductive health or reproductive system. That means the male and the female should know about their reproductive system. And that is why you don't need any devices, because if you know when are you going to, ovulate, or how are you going to ejaculate, you can control those processes, and therefore you can control the pregnancy. So a very first method, this is used by females basically, it's called safe period or rhythm method. And in this, what is this basic concept here is that a female should know out of the 28 days of a normal menstrual cycle, which day will she ovulate the egg. And at all costs, she should avoid coitus or intercourse on that day. But, this is easier said than done. How do a female know when she is going to ovulate? How will she know that today is her ovulation day? So for this, she can do two things. Number one is temperature. She can record her body temperature every day, first thing in the morning as soon as she wakes up, and keep a record of it in some journals or diaries. And after she has accumulated enough data for 2 to 3 months, she will start noticing a pattern. And the pattern will be that every other day, the temperature would be nearly normal, nearly at the same level. But one day, the temperature will be 1 degree Fahrenheit more. This is our ovulation day, because on ovulation, we have all the hormones at the surge. LH surge, FSH is highest, estrogen is highest. So just increases the metabolism, and that results in 1 degree Fahrenheit increment in the body temperature. Another way is she can check her cervical mucus. Cervical mucus, she can take it out with a swab, a cotton swab, and she can check the consistency by her hand. So if the mucus is very slippery, she knows that the dominant hormone in her menstrual cycle right now is estrogen, and probably she's in the first 14 days of her cycle. And if it is very cloggy, thick, cotton-like, meaning that the dominant hormone is progesterone, and this means that she is in her last 14 days of cycle. So from 10th to 17th day, she should avoid coitus, and blam, she will not actually conceive. Although this method is not foolproof, because there are ways by which you can increase your body temperature. For example, you can get fever, then your body temperature routine is messed up. Or there can be delay in the proliferative phase, which will then increase the first 14 days of the cycle to a certain extent, meaning that she cannot actually chalk out the exact ovulation day. Let's move to the next method, which is withdrawal method. So this is for males actually. And as it says, withdraw. It involves withdrawing the penile organ just before the ejaculation from the vagina during coitus. And hence it is also called as coitus interruptus, that at the end of the coitus, just before the male is about to ejaculate, the male has to pull out the penile organ and ejaculate outside the body of the female. In this method, this has a very high risk of something called as pre-ejaculatory emission. It especially happens to males that have had coitus after a long period of time. They can ejaculate very little bit. They will not know about it. And that ejaculate might be enough to cause pregnancy. Hence, there is a risk here, and which is why it is not a very great method that can be, relied upon. The last method, the C, lactational amenorrhea, is another very special method. But you have to keep in mind that this is not for all females. This is for only those that have just given the birth to a baby, have just given, birth, undergone parturition. And because they have just gone through parturition, they will have a high level of PRL in their blood. Now, high PRL actually inhibits FSH, and it will not let the body start a new menstrual cycle or let the ovulation occur, which means that there will be no egg to fertilize. But the trick here is that this is not going to last forever. This only is going to last for about 6 months. Maximally, and which means that after 6 months, this female will also start getting her natural menstrual cycle. So again, not a very reliable method. So all the three mentioned above methods, as you see, require knowledge of the body. Hence, they were called natural methods. Let's take a look at the second category, barrier method. We're talking about a barrier. That means between the male and the female genital area, there should be a physical barrier. The skin of the penile organ should not touch the vagina lining. And for that, what we do is that we put over a protective cover-like structure, which we say is a mechanical device. And this basically do not let the sperm to get deposited into the vagina, because it will be deposited in that barrier. And as a result, there would be no pregnancy, because as soon as the barrier is removed, the ejaculation is also removed, and there is no chance the sperm can go to the uterus. Very good thing about these methods are they can be self-inserted by the users according to the need and the privacy. There are various types for males and females. The very first category we are talking about is condoms. These are made up of very thin rubber latex, and they are rolled over the penile organ when it is fully erect. This has to be kept in mind, that it has to be rolled over when it is fully erect. Otherwise, there will be gaps and it can cause leakage. This was actually, use of condom in India was actually popularized by a brand named Nirodh under the Family Welfare Services. So in all government hospital, it is still available for free of cost for those couples that want to, provide unwanted pregnancies. A very good thing about condoms is that it also provides protection against STDs, because it does not let the skin of the penis touch the inner lining of the vagina, which is the major way how all the pathogens that causes STDs are transmitted. So it avoids that. If a female wants to use a condom, she can use her version of it, which is called FemShield. And this condom is a little different from the male one because it has 2 rings in it, and it's made up of polyurethane. And the rings are smaller and larger. The smaller ring is inserted at the cervix. It is plugged over there. And the outer ring is left open as an opening for insertion of the penile organ. Coitus can be performed normally, and ejaculation will occur in this condom. Because it is also protecting, it is also making a barrier between vagina and penis. It also provides protection against STD. FemShields are a little uncomfortable to use at the first. The female has to get used to the idea of this, and also it requires a little trick during the insertion. But they are very, very easy once the female gets a hang of it. Diaphragm, let's talk about this. So this is like a cup-shaped structure which has to be inserted inside the vagina, plugged onto the cervix as a cap, as a cover over it, and it will sit there by suction. And what it will do is that whatever ejaculation is occurring in the vagina, it will not get the chance to seep through the cervix into the uterus. So it's like a cap over the cervix. It will not allow the sperm to move up. And similarly, cervical caps. So these are a little smaller than diaphragm, but again have to be fitted over cervix. So through vagina into the cervix, onto the cervix, not into, onto the cervix. And it is designed to remain there by suction. So it will not move during the coitus if it is inserted properly. And again, does the same thing, does not allow the sperm to go into the uterus. And next would be wall caps. So walls are even smaller. So diaphragm, then some cervical caps that are small, and then smaller wall caps. They are hemispherical dome-like rubber caps or plastic cups that has to be placed over the cervix. So now they have a better grip than diaphragm or cervical cap because of the size. They are much smaller, but they are tricky to be inserted. They need some getting used to, and the female has to learn how to properly apply it over the cervix. And once it is there, it will not allow any of the sperm or the semen to sweep up into the uterus. One common thing in all three, they do not provide protection against STD because there is no barrier. Now, this is how they look like. So you can see the cap, cervical cap, diaphragm, condoms, and like so. The next method after barrier method would be chemical methods. Now, they are called chemical method because they contain chemicals. And these chemicals are not hormones. They are rather spermicidal chemicals, chemicals that can kill sperms. And they have a variety of chemicals in it. So it's like a concoction of chemicals, mixture of it. And each component of this mixture has its own unique advantage. But take a look at this. Most of it is acid, lactic acid, boric acid, citric acid. What does this acid do? It will increase the acidity, of course, and that is dangerous for sperm. So sperm get killed in excessive acidity. Then we have zinc sulfate and potassium permanganate that interfere with the cell membrane of the sperm and kills it. One thing that has to be remembered for chemical method is that they have to be applied before coitus is performed. So they have to be applied first and then coitus has to be performed. And according to the need, they are of various types. In their texture, how are they going to be used? So we have creams, like a Boroplus cream. We can use creams. It's just like Boroplus, and it goes by the name of Delphin in the market. We have jellies by the name of Perceptin and Volpa paste. And then we have foam, like shaving foams. So they come in this bottle, spray bottle, which you can spray and get this foam. The spray bottle is called as aerosol foam, but it's also available by the name of Chloromin T. Chloromin T is again a foam, or you can go for the name of Contact. A very special mention goes to sponge. Sponge, as the name suggests, is just a sponge. Yes, it will absorb everything, like a sponge absorb water or sponge absorbs. So this sponge is a different sponge because it will not only absorb the ejaculate, it contains a chemical in it called nonylphenol 9. The chemical is called nonylphenol 9, which is a spermicidal compound. It kills the sperm by disrupting the cell membrane, and best part is that all of that dead thing will be absorbed by the sponge. And again, another good thing about it is that it has to be used after coitus. So when ejaculation has occurred into the vagina, this just slightly need to be wet with water and inserted into the vagina, and in 2 to 3 hours it will absorb everything. And after 2 to 3 hours it will become quite big, so female will feel a little uncomfortable and she'll take it out and throw it away. That's it. Problem with cream jellies and foam tabs are they are applied aptopically over the vagina, on the vulva and penile organs, so they have major side effects. They cause rashes, itching, burning sensation, hence not very commonly used. So this is how they look. You see there's a delphin foam here, and then we have diaphragms and condoms that says they are hormone free and safe. We have today's sponge sitting in the center. These are all the methods that are chemical methods. The only thing is that they have side effects. Except for the sponge, it does not have a lot of side effect. This will be all for this video. We are going to move to the next part, birth control method part 2, in which I'll discuss the remaining methods. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy this video, then please like this video, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell icon. Thank you so much.